What's going on, everybody? Good Tuesday morning. Hope everyone is doing well today. And we've got some Seattle Seahawks news. It's not breaking news because this actually happened like 18 hours ago. And normally I would have made a video about it right as it happened. But when the announcement came down, I was just about to leave to go see a movie. And then by the time I got back, it was kind of late and I wanted to do other things. So I was just like, okay, I'll by the time I could have made a video about it anyway, everybody kind of already knew about it. So I was like, I'll just talk about it tomorrow. But yeah, let's talk about the Charles Cross news from yesterday afternoon. This video is powered by BetUS TV. As of yesterday afternoon, the Seahawks are exercising the fifth-year option for offensive tackle Charles Cross, former 2022 first-rounder. Rappaport reported it. It came from a couple other places as well. So those of you who do not recall, Charles Cross was a 2022 first-round pick, meaning he's now played 3 seasons in the NFL, meaning his upcoming season will be his 4th, and the 5th year is the following year, so that would be 2026. So this does not apply to this current year, it applies to next year. The way the NFL rules work is that if you want to utilize your 5th-year option on a player, you have to make the decision the year prior to that 5th year. You can't wait for just before that 5th year is going to kick in. So we had until May 1st to make this decision. We've made the decision, and it was a relative no-brainer of a decision. This is the first time the Seahawks have used the 5th-year option on a player that they have drafted, because the 5th-year option is a relatively new thing, and the first-round picks that we would have considered using the 5th-year option on were before that was a consideration. Guys like Walter Jones, guys like Joey Galloway, Sean Springs, guys like Sean Alexander, they predated the 5th-year option. So Charles Cross is the first one. We did use the 5th-year option on Noah Fant, but he was a trade acquisition, obviously. So Charles Cross locked in through 2026, as Rappaport puts it, but hopefully he gets locked in for much further beyond that. So let's first discuss the ramifications of the actual 5th-year option, just so we're all on the same page about what it really means and what it represents and what the numbers now look like for Charles Cross. So I'm going to hop over to Spotrac here, take a look at the numbers, take a look at the money, and try to figure this out. So it's pretty simple. The upcoming season, 2025, Charles Cross's cap hit is going to be $6.8 million, right? $6.8 million. There's no consideration for like dead money or anything like that. He's not going to get released. He's not going to go anywhere. So that's not something we need to think about. $6.8 million. And then the 2026 year, which is the club year, the 5th-year option that has now been picked up, boosts his pay massively to $17.56 million. So that would be, call it 17.6, well, whatever. It's point is, it's a big increase in pay for Charles Cross, right? So you can see that over the first few years of his deal, he's been getting paid, $4 to $5 to $6 million approximately. This year it's accelerating to $7, and then in 2026 it jumps all the way up to 17, more than 17 and a half. But I should say that even this inflated amount, 17.6, is well below the typical standard of a contract extension for a premium left tackle. If you look around the league right now, the premium left tackles are starting to get paid more than $25 million a year on average on their extensions. And even though they may not see all of that money, they see a lot of it. So I think that there's a clear discrepancy between what a contract extension would look like for Cross per year and what the value of the contract for 2026 now is. So clearly there is going to be an incentive to let that year play out on that value, because further years of the contract are going to be even more inflated. Before I go any further, though, I want to tell you real quick about my friends over at BetUS Sports. They go on. Even without football, they go on. You can do baseball. We're almost a month into baseball. Basketball. We got playoff basketball. We got playoff hockey. We got all kinds of other sports happening, too. A lot of stuff going on. And you can enhance your enjoyment of it all over at BetUS. Go give them a shot. Give them a chance. Check them out. Go have some fun. Many fun opportunities over there to enhance your sports enjoyment. Go have some fun. BetUS, give them a shot, and enjoy sports the way sports were meant to be enjoyed. Okay, so, like I said, on the surface level, this means Charles Cross is under contract for 2 more years, but hopefully this is leverage for more than that. I have said many times now, and I stand by it, I want Charles Cross to be extended this offseason. I want Charles Cross to get a contract extension multi-years this offseason. And the reason why I say that is because left tackle is a premium NFL position. Charles Cross is, as much as he did play very well last year, Charles Cross is probably only going to go up in value, both because the cap goes up and also because you have less leverage the closer you get to the end of his deal, and also because he's probably going to have a better year in 2025 than he did in 2024. So the value of Charles Cross is only going to go up. Last year he was playing in that Ryan Grubb offense where we threw the ball too much, we didn't do enough play action, we did too much long developing plays, and that hangs Charles Cross out to dry. That puts Charles Cross in situations where he gives up pressures because the quarterback is kind of a sitting duck out there because the passing routes take too long to develop, and the other parts of the offensive line aren't very good, so he's often running for his life, meaning that the guy that's going up against Cross is often going to have opportunities to get to the quarterback that he otherwise wouldn't have if the quarterback was able to actually sit in the pocket a little bit, etc., etc. Charles Cross was in a very bad situation for him last year as a player. Good chance this year with Kubiak in, with probably more tight end utilization and more focus on play action and more focus on getting the ball out quicker, even with Sam Darnold, who is a quarterback who is very well known for holding onto the ball too long, it'll still probably be a better year for Charles Cross. So some people have pointed to Charles Cross's pressure rate allowed to indicate that he's not as good as some people think. But to me, that is clearly a byproduct of the Ryan Grubb offense. So I think that Charles Cross, he's probably going to ascend as a valuable player. Like, I've theorized before that you could get Charles Cross on like a $26 million a year extension. If you wait until next year, if he plays well in 2025, you might be looking at 29 or 30 million a year. It really depends on what happens with the other top left tackles. And if you wait the year beyond that, it's almost certainly going to be more than 30 million. So I want to get this done now. This is a guy I want to be here for a while. And at the end of the day, we have really had a problem building this offensive line for the last decade plus. I don't want to risk anything with one of the guys that I consider to be basically a blue chipper here. But beyond that, if you take a look at the way this fifth-year option affects things, it basically means that Charles Cross is going to take one more year to get to the open market, one more year away from getting long-term security. So in many ways, this fifth-year option is also negotiation leverage. So if you're Charles Cross and you're looking at this and you're going, look, I'm playing well right now. I'm a good football player. I'm doing my job really well. I'm capable of being even better because he's still relatively young, but I am one play away, just like everyone else in the league. I am one play away from having my career over. And I would really like to get that long-term contract extension so I can at least feel good about where I am in my life. I can feel good about my financial status for the rest of my life, and maybe for some of my family's life. And in order to do that, I need to make it to that first extension. So now you have 2 years between him and his long-term extension because of the fifth-year option. So now there is extra motivation for him to come to the table and be like, I would like an extension that guarantees me a large sum of money. And in order to get that long-term security, I might be willing to give back a little bit of the total value. You're not going to have that in a year. In a year, he's going to be less incentivized to give you some of that money back because he's going to be like, well, now I'm only a year away from the open market. Why would I, why would I give money back now when I can just wait a year? And you certainly don't have any of that leverage in 2 years when he's about to become a free agent. Your only leverage then would be the franchise tag, and franchise tagging is always very messy and not something you really want to be doing as anything other than just the leverage. To actually utilize it during the season is, the player doesn't like it, the team doesn't like it. It really is a kind of a last-ditch effort for a team to keep a player, but I don't think anybody really likes it that much. It's so expensive and cost-prohibitive for the team, and the player gets no long-term security beyond his 1-year deal. So at that point, you would have that leverage, but right now you have the looming possibility of the franchise tag, and you have these next 2 years where Cross is like, hey, this could all be over for me in a flash. I sure would like to get that contract on the books now, and now that's even more incentivized because as much money as this is in 2026, the amount that he's going to be making per year on any extension that is reasonable based on his play is way more. All right, let me know what you guys think. I'm going to get out of here. Peace out, go Hawks. Thank you to BetUS TV for powering this video. See you guys soon.